Hello, welcome to my second video blog. It's a real hot Wednesday afternoon in Manhattan in East Harlem. I just want to talk a little bit about our psychedelic disintegration group, which happened last night every Tuesday at 7 o'clock, West 23rd Street. It's a great group. Great group of people come in. Sometimes there's 4, sometimes there's 15, but it's always very heartfelt, very intelligent, and I always learn something and am inspired continually. Someone had come in who was just a couple of weeks out of, a couple of days, like 6 days out of a 5-MeO Bufo experience. And he felt completely discombobulated, which I think happens a lot with Bufo. I guess folks can comment on that. For me, it was probably the most powerful in terms of intensity medicines that I have ever did. And I remember feeling discombobulated, not quite as discombobulated as I felt with DMT, with regular DMT. But it was nothing to do with this reality. And so this individual, this guy was, basically talking about the last 6 days of trying to come back. I don't know. I mean, this is one of the reasons we call it a disintegration group, because I don't know what kind of fucking integration you can do with a Bufo experience. I mean, what does it have to do with this? But he got some really good support. One of the things that someone talked about, another guy there that had also done a Bufo experience, was he called it night school. He said after his Bufo experience that when he would go to sleep, the experience would come back, which I can relate to, and he would take notes and write and journal about those dreams and those experiences, and that deepened the Bufo for him. Strange thing with Bufo too, every time someone talks about it, if I'm talking about it right now, I get the shivers, I get afraid. That shit like kicks up for me. So that was really helpful, and I think one of the best suggestions folks had was just support. Starting to come to groups like ours and finding other people, because you do a Bufo experience and then you walk into the streets of Manhattan, which is also this unique psychedelic experience, which I've had many times going through ceremony and then hitting the streets, and it's often jarring or even sometimes it even deepens the psychedelic experience, because New York is a trip. So talked about coming and sharing and how helpful that was. There was a woman that stopped by a few weeks ago, and she gave us 3 pointers. She said that what is needed is intention, support, and ritual. And we as a group came up with attention. So attention, support, ritual, and intention. And what is meant by that is your intention for going into something is really important, like it was with this guy. He went in because he had severe depression. The attention is that you pay attention to the way you feels and not try to squash this shit, as much as you possibly can. Honor that experience, give it attention, give these motions attention. Ritual, doing something over and over again to make yourself feel better, grow physically, mentally, spiritually. It can be an actual religious ritual. It could be going to the gym. It could be having a quiet cup of tea with a friend on a regular basis. Attention, intention, and then support, finding community. I think, this is what sort of came out of this entire conversation yesterday, which is often the end of most of our, or at least the end result of most of our conversations in the disintegration group, is that we need each other. That we need each other for support and love. And that might be the most important thing. There was another guy that had done 7 grams of mushrooms by himself, but he had set it up in such a beautiful way. I mean, he had his playlist out, he put up inspirational messages around his apartment, he thought about it. really deeply thought about it, and I think for the most part it was a really good experience for him. But he was talking that he wanted to talking about wanting to get to that ego death. And one of the things that occurred to me was that the ego death is such an egoic pursuit, you know? He even was at 4 grams and was wondering about the other 3, and someone in the group asked him, well, what made you do it? He said, I just pushed through. That pushing through, that picking up that 3rd gram is the ego. So ego death in the heroic dose is an egoic quest. And once he was there, where he got to that no space, no ego space, he was there for a while, and once he sort of breathed into it, because he was able to, some folks can't, and that's okay. They simply can't breathe into it. There's nothing wrong with that. That's just what it is. But he was able to do that and then release, and then what came of that is that we're all connected. And I know that sounds like some corny ass hippie shit, but that's all we got, is that, you know, we're all connected. So, I mean, it was another beautiful, powerful night, as they all are. And what I got from it is that we empower ourselves through group, through togetherness, through connection. And the real journey doesn't start until, well, for New Yorkers, until you're on the subway and somebody who seems so selfish is in front of you doing some kind of selfish shit. That's when the psychedelic journey really begins, or on the freeway, or at the place of work. So, you know, come down Tuesday nights, 7 o'clock, West 23rd Street. The address will be listed. It's $30. It's really smart, great group. So until next time, thanks a lot.